myself, I'm an atheist, but religion does really interest me. I believe in evolution. A lot of, like, especially some of the Bible I've read as well, I'm just like, yeah, it just doesn't interest me. And I've always said it sounds like something like the person who wrote the Bible was probably high. Nothing I've really ever looked into, so I wouldn't really know. To put it bluntly, I don't care. I liked learning about it in school, but then like after school, it's nothing I really followed. I'm atheist, your religion. I'm not going to beat on your religion. I don't want you to beat on me being atheist.
Hey everyone, just had a good conversation. It's getting a little bit dark, a little bit rainy even, but I had a great conversation with a young man. Actually a very similar conversation to the one from a couple of weeks ago with a skateboarder. Same sort of idea, some sort of a vague understanding that evolution and science and somehow made religion obsolete, but even if not a tremendous care for religious claims, not something that's of interest. Even though this gentleman here was saying he is interested in religion, but then in the conversation his interest was very either superficial or yeah, there's not a lot of depth there. But anyway, had a chance to share the gospel with him. In the end, he ultimately had a respectful conversation, but we agreed to disagree, respectfully so. I thanked him for his time, but yeah, I just pray maybe that some more serious thought would be given to religion. I think there's a lot there to even part of the consideration. What are the claims? What's the philosophy behind it? Why is it beneficial to us as human beings? So anyway, that's my prayer for him. But great conversation. Hope you find it interesting as well, and look forward to seeing you in the next conversation. God bless you. Thank you. Do you have any faith, any belief, any religion?
So I'm not religious myself. I'm an atheist, but religion does really interest me.
Okay.
Like, so obviously growing up, I was christened and everything, like by my parents and stuff, but just it never really interested me, and like I never really believed in any of it. But like learning about it and like in school and stuff was really interesting, and like how like it evolved throughout the years and stuff like that.
So you say currently it does interest you, something you are interested in?
Yeah, no, like religion's always interested me. Like I have my own thoughts about religion and how it like impacts the world politically as well, I feel. I don't think they should both go hand in hand with each other anyway, but that's the world we live in. But yeah.
So you're atheist now, right? So you believe there is no God. And is that a position that you can sort of like come with some confidence, like you've done your research, you've done the investigation, you're pretty convinced of that?
Yeah, I mean, like, so I was more of like, I believe in evolution.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I believe we've evolved from like apes and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, my argument has always been like, you can't really argue with millions of years of like evolution that's like proven compared to like thousands of years of religion.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Like religion's been around thousands and thousands of years, but like, you know, the Earth's been around for millions and billions at this point.
Right.
So.
But you yourself, you're not a scientist. You're just
No,
that's the kind of how you're looking at it, right?
Yeah.
So, but you are aware, right? I mean, even science has limitations in terms of how much conclusion. So for example, to go from non-life to life, that is still a question science hasn't really answered how that happens. I think evolution is a process of going from one form of life to another over time, right? Through small gradual changes, right? So, but no one really knows how life began, and the more, I think my experience has been, the more scientists look into life, how complex it is.
Oh yeah. No,
even a single cell. But interestingly, you talk about time, right? I've heard other scientists say, look, what would have to happen for a single cell to be formed, given the information and knowledge we have now? There's not enough time in the universe. 15 billion years that the universe has been around. There's actually not enough time to get to that point. I mean, I don't know what's your thoughts about that, or
Honestly, like, yeah, just like time in general, like, obviously 15 billion years, and civilization's been around for 20,026 years. What we call civilization. But yeah, it's just a weird thing to think about. Again, like, obviously, it's an argument I don't think I could ever like answer.
Right.
Really,
Okay.
like, is religion real? Is like, it's like science behind everything real? Like, just I don't personally know. But for me personally, I just I'm not religious, and I think religions can be violent. I think every religion can be violent. I think like Islam is violent. I think Christianity is violent. Obviously, a lot of people nowadays are thinking that Islam is the most violent, but that's because of media. I know a lot of like Muslim people. I would consider like a lot of them like my friends and stuff, but it's more down. I think it's more down to who you are as a person and how you was brought up. Like, I don't know where I was going with my thoughts, but yeah. No, I think like obviously. Yeah, I can't remember where I was going, but yeah.
No, that's essentially a lot of people do claim sort of, you know, religion does cause violence, and it's true. It's true. There have been conflicts in the name of religion that have been fought. I would sort of say I don't think that's necessarily a property of religion. I think people are just violent, and I think people who hold very dearly to some ideology, whatever that is, they will defend it or use it to defend those beliefs.
And that's what I think is like using your, again, you being a violent person, but using your own faith and religion just puts dirt on your religion. Like, obviously you want everyone to live with each other. I want obviously everyone wants world peace. Well, some people don't, but everyone wants everyone to live with each other. But there's just obviously certain people out there that don't think anyone can live with each other, and
that sort of brings me to an interesting kind of question that I'd like to discuss with people. Like, you know, violence and like conflict, right? Inherently, to me, is something that is not necessarily far out there, but I think, you know, I kind of recognize it even in myself, right? And I think to borrow from a religious word, right? The idea of sin is the idea where I do things that are because I'm putting myself first in my own world, right? And if someone does something that conflicts with that, or if I just need to kind of do something that puts me first and prioritizes me, whether I need to steal something or lie about something to just defend myself, you know, I will do that, and that is what, you know, is called sin. Now, what do you think about that, right? Because I think religiously, right, that is one of the historically the problems that I think religions.
How I feel about it is, I think it's just an excuse to say like, oh, it's just a sin. Like, you've done something bad, and you're making up an excuse of you've done that thing bad. But now, I can be forgiven because of my faith. It's like, no, you've done that. You've done a bad thing. Like, it now is what it is. Like, if it gives you peace of mind that you can forgive yourself for what you've done through religion, then like, fair. But you've still done it, and it's like, it's just like you've still done it. Like, you've still done that bad thing. Like, there probably won't be any consequences for you, say, like stealing, but you've still done something pretty shitty. So, sorry to swear.
No, that's fine. No, and I would agree with you. I think religions generally would agree as well, right? So sin is not necessarily a cop out. Like, if you sin and then you can find some sort of forgiveness, and that somehow erases that. But I think there's two elements here, right? So I can, you know, there's a sin between two people. Like, I can, let's say, physically harm someone. So I've harmed them, I've sinned against them, and so I'll have to go to jail, or I have to pay a fine, I have to deal with that person. But there's also a sense in which doing that act, for those who believe in God, they've done something against God, right? Because God is the one that said, look, if you truly do believe in me, if you claim to know me, you shouldn't be doing such things. You shouldn't be getting, you know, into conflicts and harm and other things. So there's two types of reckoning that there exist. There's my brother, my neighbor that I have to reconcile with, but also there's a sense of reconciliation with God, right? And I think it's that second one. It's that second one that obviously for those who believe, they need to find some sort of a way of reconciliation, because that is even worse, right? Because the idea of sin and lack of atonement for it leads people to hell, right? If I don't somehow figure out a way to deal with it. I mean, so do you believe like is in that sort of judgment and that heaven and hell idea?
Again, no. Like, so, I mean, I have a pretty bleak outlook of it all. I just think once you die, you do die. I don't think there is an afterlife. I don't think there is anything after. I just think you're gone, to be honest. Like, and for me, it's just like if there was an afterlife and stuff like that, like, someone would have seen it, right? Like, it would be there. Someone could be able to prove it, but again, no one can prove that there was, like, well, I don't know if someone has proved that there is another afterlife, but not that I've seen.
Yeah, well, people have claimed, right, that they've died and they've returned back, they've seen things that while they were clinically dead, and those things are documented, so whether we believe in those or not, but they're there.
I think as well that could also be the body, right? Like, obviously, they say, like, the brain is active for, like, how long it is after death, so could that just be the brain playing something to you or doing something? It's interesting, and I like thinking about it, and obviously answers would be nice, but I don't have the answers, and whether I ever see the answer, I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. What's your thoughts about? You talked about sort of, your position. Like, is there anything that would change that position, right? So would it be some sort of experience or evidence that would sort of say, you know what, I didn't believe in that, but now that this has happened, or I've learned about this, I experienced this, I might reconsider.
Yeah, I mean, just I know a lot of people say like they have like a near-death experience, and then all of a sudden like they like thank God and stuff like that, and then like people are like religious and stuff like that. But obviously I've not had something like that, so I feel like I couldn't comment on something until until that happens to me. Right. I know it sounds a bit like in the moment, but I'm kind of like an in the moment guy. Right? Okay. I couldn't comment on something that hasn't happened. Like if it comes out like it's all true, then maybe I'd like start believing in it if it's true. But like right now, it's kind of like a lot of like, especially some of the Bible I've read as well. I'm just like, it just doesn't interest me in a way. It just feels like it's more of like a fictional story than like fact. Really, it's.
That's interesting. I mean, any examples like that have really kind of pushed that for you home?
The whole honestly, the whole like archangel story, like the story and stuff, just sounds cool. It doesn't sound real, but it sounds cool.
Which one is the archangel story? Sorry, which one?
Like Michael and stuff like that. Again, I've only loosely read it like years ago and stuff like that. But like it generally sounds like something out of fiction,
Right. And
I've always said it sounds like the person who wrote the Bible was probably high, and they all were back in the day. So.
Okay, I've sometimes heard sort of the idea of psilocybin or something like that being in use. I think, having looked at it myself, I think it was pretty much debunked. It wasn't in use in those times, and in fact, so the person who actually the Bible was written by multiple people, both the Old Testament, New Testament, multiple independent observers. They wrote it, and they wrote from the perspective of a first person, kind of a witness. I was there at this time. Here's what this person said. Here's what that person said. Here's what the reactions was from the crowd. Here's what happened afterwards. So it's kind of like it was written as if though people were there. And that was a genre that didn't really, as a fiction, didn't really exist in those days. It was like Harry Potter style. Didn't exist. People didn't write those kind of novels there. They either wrote biographies or they wrote, historical events, battles and other things. And that's kind of like, if that's how it came about, then we have to think about, okay, those people wrote something that they've seen. That's interesting things that they've seen there.
But then I also think, like, obviously, imagination was a thing. It's always been a thing. Everyone has always had an imagination. So. Yeah.
But when you have multiple people who are independently writing of one another, you have to think about, okay, either they're all crazy or some sort of giant conspiracy.
Yeah.
Neither of those seem likely. No. Neither of those seem likely at the time. But that aside, like, so maybe one of the final questions, but what do you think, taking Christianity specifically, what do you think it's about? Like, what is the core message of it?
It's nothing I've really ever looked into, so I wouldn't really know. Again, I've stayed away from like religion because I don't know. To say I don't believe, it's like just another thing that doesn't interest me as well. Like, I just, to put it bluntly, I don't care.
Right.
Like, I just, again, they interest me. Like, I do like I liked learning about it in school, but then like after school, it's nothing I really followed. Like,
this goes back to my initial, like, if there was some sort of a sense of the divine existence, or at least if you open up your mind to like there being God, I think maybe that would maybe change your opinion on even caring, right? Because I think as soon as we recognize, is there a creator God or some higher power, then the next question is, who is he? What is he like? And then, has any one of the religions really figured him out? Has he really truly appeared to people? And if so, what did he say? And what does it mean for me personally? And then, if there is a judgment, if there is a heaven and hell, what does it mean to go into the good place? What does it mean to go to the bad place? So these are, I get it for now that you're sort of saying, look, it's not something of interest to you, but like these are weighty, these are big questions. Like if your eternity is in question here, and if it's
the thing is, well, like, as if it turned out to be like, I'd say there was a Christianity God and stuff like what would happen to the other religions as well? Like, that would be a question, because obviously, like, Islam say that there's only one true God.
Yeah.
Like, so would there be more conflict, and would there be like stuff against that God? Would there people come out and say he's a false God, even though he's proven that he's a God?
I think these are good questions, but I think ultimately, like, is truth and knowing truth, is that a valuable pursuit in itself? I mean, we all go to.
I think even with truth, people still choose not to believe.
I know, right? And that's interesting, right? That's interesting.
Like, and even if you come away from religion, like, you have stone cold facts, and people still will be like, no, I don't agree with that.
Right.
Like, that doesn't align with me. So even if there was, I feel, a God, like, in your face, like in the sky, like God there, people would still be like, nah, that's fake.
I agree. I think
especially with today's media.
Yeah.
Like, especially with today's media and the way it would be like pushed, and with social media, and everyone would think it's fake straight away, because people would just say, oh, it's AI.
Exactly, some sort of magic, some sort of illusion, something, right? Even for people who have seen it personally with their own eyes, they'll be like, you know what, some sort of atmospheric
and as well, I think as well, when will there be a religion on AI? When will people start, like, believing in AI?
Yeah. But you know what, with that, it's interesting you say that, right? But we have a lot of people now these days going back to some of the traditional forms of the religion, because precisely of what you're sort of describing, right? People are kind of saying, look, what is the truth? Because I'd like to know it without having some sort of foundation to stand on, to build your life on, to build your morals on, to be sort of like the like family values, what is right, what is wrong, how should I live my life? Without having some sort of a solid foundation, people, especially young people these days, they're finding themselves lost.
Oh, yeah.
So you have a lot of young people kind of going, especially into some of the traditional forms of religion, like Orthodox and Catholic. It gives them structure. It gives them some sort of a way to start from that puts them forth in life.
I do 100% believe that like religion can help. Like, religion helps a lot of people, a lot of lost people as well. Like, I've known people that's turned to religion because they're lonely, and they want a sense of community and stuff like that. And like, I don't believe in it, but if it makes you a happier person, then I'm all for it. Like, I'll go across the way as like, I'm atheist, your religion, I'm not going to beat on your religion, I don't want you to beat on me being atheist. Like, I think we just should live how we live, and I agree. There's a respect, right? There's a human respect. We have to relate as one human being to another and respect those views. But at the same time, I would say
there is a good marketplace of ideas, right? To learn and to question our conclusions, right? And to re-examine them. And that's what I said. I value truth. And I think inherently we all have to admit that we value truth. Otherwise, we wouldn't be going to schools. No. We wouldn't be educating ourselves. We wouldn't be listening to podcasts, because we're all trying to understand what this world is all about.
Yes.
Have I got it correct? Has someone else have something to say to me that is of benefit to me, right? And so just to kind of like, disclose my own sort of position. So I was from a position of I would say nominal Christian, someone who was born into religion but lived life like I really didn't call myself a believer, right? To later in life, having examined specifically Christianity, asking questions. My background is science, and that's what I study in university, and so I approach it from that perspective, like, what is this Christianity about? Can I trust this book that was written 2,000 years ago? What conditions, what circumstances led to it? What does it say? And that's actually drawn me from examining it, from questioning it. It's drawn me from a position of pretty much non-belief to a position of belief. And it has enriched my life. Not to the extent that like I was in some sort of doldrums, I was in dire needs. It was something that truly, I can say I'm better for it now, because it gives a sense of fulfillment. I do think we're also spiritual, not just flesh and bone and blood. I think there's a certain sense of spiritual aspect of us. I think it fulfills that, but more than anything, any of that sort of personal benefit that I truly think there's an external reality of it that is worth considering. And I'm not saying I'm going to be able to convince someone, or seeing it from my eyes, someone else is going to say, oh yeah, of course. But I'm just saying it's worth looking at it, considering it, coming to a conclusion. Is it? Do I agree with it or do I not agree with it? I think it's a worthwhile time spent.
No, like I said, like religion generally does it interests me in the fact of like knowing about like religion and stuff, and also like to understand people. I like to know like religion and stuff, like because like obviously like, and I go into like Islam and stuff like that. They are very different people compared to like people who live like who are Christian and stuff like that, and like their lifestyle and stuff like is completely different. And I don't think any country is really doing well integrating like any religion together, because again there's been years of conflict between them. But a lot of people just like refuse to just talk to people, and that's a problem with like everywhere is no one talks as well. Like they just get a hatred of certain people through like media, and it just poisons their mind.
I agree with that as well. And I think I'm certainly glad that you were open to a conversation, even though we are standing on two different sort of grounds, obviously here. But we can have a respectful conversation.
Exactly.
We can have
the moment you argue, it's the moment you lose a conversation. Because it just turns into a shouting match. Like, what's the point?
Or even a healthy. There's a sense of healthy argument where you sort of, okay, tell me your best reasons. Okay, I'll tell you my sort of best reasons, and then we can I'll think about it. Walk away. But it's not like you're a worse person now because we disagree.
No, exactly. I just think everyone should just get along. And don't base your opinions of people off just statistics and media. Like, not everyone is a mass murderer.
Indeed.
Not everyone is bad. There is bad people out there, but there's also people who are bad who are very high up in the world. So.
Absolutely, with a lot of power. One last thing that I'll leave you with, and if you could just indulge me with, because I think you spoke about kind of Islam and Christianity, and just because it's on my heart, it's dear to me. I'd like to kind of, the one thing that I think makes Christianity unique is that idea that we talked about sin originally, right? And that sort of the justice and hell, heaven and hell. To me, the idea that a God would send his own son to die for humanity was the idea that captured my heart, right? And it's the idea that turns a religion from doing religious things and being good and finding favor with God, which I think most of the religions are, to a religion of grace and thanksgiving. Because me as a Christian, I I feel secure and safe knowing what my eternal position is because someone has paid the price.
Yeah.
To your earlier point, it doesn't make my sins erased from a perspective of people that I've harmed. I had to go and reconcile with them.
Yeah.
But in terms of reconciliation with God, it solves that problem, which to me was a real problem, right? And so Jesus dying for my sins on the cross reconciles me to an extent with God and makes God approachable to me and acceptable. I'm acceptable to God now because my sins have been paid, and that gives me the eternal life. That gives me a heaven, which is a presence with God, with my Creator. To me, that is something that uniquely stands.
Yeah.
Justice and love together come in the idea of a Christianity, which I would just sort of say, look, if there's ever a time where you may look into things, I think that to me is the idea and the thought that's worth sending me back to the Bible to investigate further.
No, I think, like, without trying to sound condescending or anything, like, because I'm just like, this is how I generally feel. I think if, like, that makes you happy and, like, that makes you get through your life and makes you wake up every single day and, like, keep trying, then, like, that's great, right? I think the biggest thing is just generally, like, surviving, like, and however you get through your day is, like if it's religion, if it's, like, just anything, like, as long as you're happy, that's what I think, like. And if people, like what you said, like, if that, like, that helps you, like, reconcile, then, like, good for you, like, in a way. Like, again, not trying to sound condescending or anything like that, but, like, good for you. Like, I'm happy for you, and I'm happy that you're happy, and, like, just that goes to anyone. Like, if you're happy, you're happy, and if you're not happy, talk about your problems. Right.
Awesome stuff. Well, again, you've been very good, very patient, and it's starting to rain, getting dark, so I'm not going to take any much of your time, but I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, no, thanks for the talk. I honestly,
stuff,
like, talking about, like, religion and stuff like that is, I do like to have the conversation, because, I do. I just like having convos, but religion is a good one to convo about. So, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.